Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
In understanding something which we never understood, but we emphasize again and again on it for you to understand. In a dimension of the physicality of the man, we know in a dimension of physicality of the man has no physical dimension if there is not an environmental field, which means we have no dimension, if there was no magnetical gravitational field of the earth around us. If we move to another dimension, if we move to another position, and the environment changes, we'll find out that us as man will not exist. This is a very nice trick. But what will be interesting for most of us is if we change the field, the environmental field, do we become invisible? In the field dimension of the man, on earth, we have a physicality. When we change the fields, we disappear. What kind of new creatures would be us manifesting ourselves at? Is the possibility of a line of life changes? Or do we still have that possibility, that what I call having the soul inside it? Having the soul that can bring the dimension of physicality to the soul of physicality in a new condition of life. In a way, if we change, if we bring a new condition, a new environment, how would we look? Would we trust to be able to go back to our original colors and conditions and life as a man? Would we think as a man in a dimension, or would we think as a new creature, new understanding according to the environment we manifest ourselves? The truth about all this is that have we understood that we have a nuclear bomb with massive radiation capabilities, that is a cosmic rays, sits within the center of the body of the man. We call it the soul of the man. It is more energetic, it's more powerful in strength than the whole of the physicality put together. Body of the man is made of billions and billions of cells, and each cell itself has an energy to maintain its position and the condition of life. So the body of the man physically is a energy packs times billions, trillions. And that energy in the dynamic motion transfer of the fields to what we call its blood creates a cage to hold this in. One energy pack encaging another. But there is an interconnection between these two that allows one to be embedded inside the other. In a way, if you look at it in a bigger scale, you have your physical dimension outside from the interaction of these two. It's very much like gravity and magnetical field. In their interaction, we create the mass. Physicality. There is no difference if you call the soul of physicality magnetical field and the soul of the man the gravitational field, with the capability that one can change position with the other. Through an interconnection, through an interline power level, what we call common denominator, they can switch from one to another. Then this switch will decide in interaction with the environment how you manifest yourself at a point and a place. You switch the fields to the dimension of physicality, what do we have? We are going to have an amazing condition where what we call the dimension of the interaction, dimension of the position and the position of the fields can create the different dimension of physicality of the man in the same environment. What it means, you can change slightly the emotion, the dimension, and the direction. And then in that process, you can turn from being a white man to a black man. Because the environment of the earth has not changed. It's the field emotion of the place you live with allows you to do the transmutation. You look like Chinese, you speak Chinese, you understand the emotion of the Chinese language. Because now you kept within the gravitational magnetic field of the planet Earth. Is the inertia and a position in respect to the center and a condition of the fields of the inertia created, which gives you that environment. Don't forget, when you enter a new environment, let's say from England you go to China, the soul of the Chinese dictates part of that inertia. The soul of emotion of the nation, culture, language dictates that part of inertia. That's why you manifest yourself if you decide as a Chinese and understand the whole lot. Then the language and the dictionaries are not needed, because now you don't need to press this and it gives you the meaning but not the emotion of. Now when you speak, you understand your soul has the emotion of the feeling of the word too. Now you decide to change the gravitational field of the earth to the moon. Now you manifest yourself in that position in the moon as a man of the moon. Is there a life on the moon? Is the collective life an interaction of your soul with it teaches you how to communicate, how to exist? Or you create a new dimension that the interaction of the emotion of the soul of the man and soul of his guardian man translates that to the existence on that planet. You learn the language, you learn the feature, not out of transmutation, but by the collection of the interaction of the fields of the environment, of the soul of the people, entities who live in that environment. They transfer the energy, they transfer the knowledge to you as much as you transfer to them. It's not only the transmutation by the physical dimension, is interaction of the soul of the man in transmutation that interacts with the soul of the citizens of that environment, that allows you to be part of, to be understood, and to live like them.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 539th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I will be host once again in this weekly series of workshops that's been ongoing for over 10 years now. And once again, we have the pleasure and honor of Mr. Mehran Keshe being with us, and I believe he's with us. I'm not quite sure yet because he was on the road for a while. Mr. Keshe, are you there and available, or do you need a couple of more minutes?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, whenever and wherever you listen, this is a knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back as no one, as unusual. Today, as a matter of respect and honor to His Excellency, President Raisi passing in an accident in the past few days, I would like to ask, as a United Nations non-harm mask, that we give a minute of silence for one of the most dynamic and prolific world leaders which passed by accident in the past few days. If we observe a minute of silence in honor of one of the world leaders, will be appropriate and appreciated.
Did you say, sorry, did you say 2 minutes, Mr. Keshe, or
1 minute.
1 minute? Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for that minute of silence. You can go ahead now, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. In listening to the intro and understanding that what we have, what we actually be done through the knowledge we gain, there is another dynamic condition in the world of the man, which is within the man and is part of the structure of the living man, which in a way the world of science has, as usual we say, never understood, never acted upon, and at the same time the what we call humanity has never grasped the totality of the understanding of this principle of life. In the world of medicine, in the world of science of body of the man, we have come up with different names for it, but this is part of the connection of the physicality of the body of the man to cosmic rays, to essence of the foundation of the reality of the creation of the man. What does this mean? In we say we tap into by taking some food as a seed to absorb energy for the physical dimension through the what we call environmental energies, cosmic rays, earth rays, and the rest. But for the soul of the man, for the central energy of the man, and the body which is embedded in it, in the center of it, the work of the physicality comes to be a different way, which man has not understood. Man has never understood the reality about his own creation, how he's created, how he uses the cosmic rays in the dimension of the soul of the man. Through conversion with the soul of physicality, which we're calling emotion, to lead to the creation of the man, reaction, interaction of the man with his environment. In the world of medicine, we call it psychosomatic, psychological and the physical, where the two comes from, and where one leads to the problem or creation of the other. But the world of science has never understood to explain this. Because if you, as knowledge seekers, understand this, you have broken through the position to be able to be part of the universal community, interact with the emotion of the universal community, interact with the emotion of the physicality of the man yourself, in how to manifest yourself, how to actually come to, in a way, be manifested, create within you. As I said to one of the knowledge seekers in one of the recent talks, that God says, I made man in the image of myself. But in a way, we create our children in image of ourselves. And we see how we suffer from the hand or take joy from the hand or a conduct of our children. We are the creator of these children. And in that process, we become the creator. And we made our children in image of ourselves. Which means we suffer with them, with their misconducts, enjoy with them in their success. So it's the same with the creator. He suffers with man, with his conduct, and he enjoys and rejoices when the man achieves understanding the process of the creation within himself. And this is where we need to understand how our emotion is connected to the creator. And what does it lead to? Why do we get a cancer? How each organ and the cell is built to be. How we manifest ourselves in different shape and formats through our emotion. We get angry, we change our face, we get joyful, we laugh with a sound, and then how come emotion can show itself in a burst, but that emotion which was in a hidden, in the background, in the structure of the brain of the man, does not or has no effect on the physicality of the man. But we call it psychosomatic. But part of the energy which psychologically we absorb from the brain, psychologically we absorb from the universe, is through carbon-14, is through cosmic rays. So we see that cosmic rays have a direct effect in the interaction with our emotion in the structure of our body, through the emotion of the soul, through the emotion of the soul of physicality. But what the scientists have not understood, what our people talk about, but they have no essence of understanding, is that where and how does this process of psychosomatic work? Psychologically, the emotion brings us to that point. But where does what we call the physical dimension comes into it? How do they interact to lead to the creation of us? What does this mean? If we take the brain of the man in a very simple way, every time we want this pen, the pen gives up on us. Let's see if it decides to work this time. Nope. Does not want to collaborate today. I wish I could do this. Unfortunately, knowledge seekers, God does not want you to learn about this.
Didn't we do something last time to kick that in?
I don't know. It's his. This system is as temperamental as a baby. Let me see if I can bring it in another shape. A new whiteboard. collaborating, no, presenting. Okay. Let's see if it's going to create that we can work with it. Yes, something's happening here. So this pen gets sorted at age 100 years. Okay, let's see what we do. Nope, it doesn't want to give me access to the pen. Oh, sometimes it does. Sorry about this. This is new technology. Okay, I use the hand than a pen, then we understand. Sorry about this. The more advanced systems we use, the worse we get. So what is important for us to understand is that where our life, physical life, comes out of our emotion. And how does it work? Because if you understand this part, in a very easy way, you as knowledge seekers will be able to control the transmutation. Even a combination of transmutation and transportation. What we talk about is very simple. This is the two-half brain of the man. Sorry about this, there's no pen, this is the finger of me. And this is your soul in the middle. And this is your body in two halves, left and right. The neural system, if I find the colors, God help me there, yeah. The neural system in the brain operates in some positions. And these neural systems on the left side of the body of the man controls the right side and vice versa, the right side to the left side. The connection through the nerve system is a matter state, which is symmetric, comes from symmetry of the body of the man. But this connections here through everything else goes to every nerve, every system of the body of the man. We show different colors for different sides, and we see what happens. But this is a physical connection. And the magic with the creation is the emotion has no neural connection, is a field, is an interaction of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality, which comes through the blood. So it has, in reality, no physical connection with the left side. It creates a field on the, what we call the right side of the body of the man, which is here and here. The neural system, the physical part of the man, creates the somatic connection with symmetry of the body of the man from the left side of the brain to the right body of the man. But the fields of the emotion are as fields. They have no physical, some of it might go through the neural system, but they create the dimension of the motion in interaction with the neural system current, and what we call the blood circulation current lead to the creation of the man physical dimension. So we create our physicality from interaction of the fields of the emotion, which has no physical connection, but it's a field which itself is connected to the cosmic rays as part of the process of the existence of the, what we call the body of the man. And this is where Man, world of science, have not understood this. And this is where this psychosomatic comes, where this is where, as scientists, as doctors, and the rest of it are in dilemma. They talk about, but they don't understand that, in fact, the physicality of the man controls through the neurosystem, but the emotion of the man comes from the fields which has no connection. This is why when I touch you, you're angry, automatically every piece of body feels when you're touching something you like. When we taste the water, because we touch these fields, does not need any neurosystem confirmation. Instantaneous. This is why when you're thirsty, the minute you touch that water, the taste goes, the thirst of the water goes, because you don't touch the nerve, the system to get water everywhere. You transfer the energy of the water through these fields to every cell of the body of the man. But the only biggest difference is that by accident, by conversion of the system, these two are connected to each other. These two have what I call affinity of connection with each other. And what happens? You have the fields that emotion transfers to the other side, and the fields of emotion directly, automatically you touch and you feel. And this emotion, when this, what we call the inner circle, I put it as a green, that makes it much easier. If this inner circle between the two sides of the brain of the man are not in balance, when the fields are created on the right side, which comes from the information energy from the left side, don't match, you end up with what we call every other disease that the man might call a cancer, depression, and everything else. So you as knowledge seekers have to understand, when you come to point of the transmutation, you have to consider how your emotion brings you back to dimension of physicality, because the interaction of the totality of this field itself in interaction with the field of its environment lead to the manifestation of your physical life, which is your head and your body. Then we even understand why we have different features, we gain different structure in the womb of the mother, because the soul of the man created in the center, interaction with the field of the environment of the mother, decides the shape of the body of the child. The manifestation, the structure of the soul, the structure of the what we call physicality of the brain and the soul of physicality. You torture the mother, you in the pregnancy, you change that field. And you don't end up with such a perfect soul, you don't end up with such a perfect body, because that emotion of the hurt to the mother transfers to the emotion of the child, in, as we call it, cosmic rays of the fields of the mother to the child, and you get default in the child, you get all sorts of problems after the child is born, because you touch this energy soul system. And this is why the children of Mitra, the children to be born understanding the work of the cosmic rays, directly at the point of birth connect to the universal community energies, which is pure and balanced, which means the emotion and physicality of the mother cannot touch. Child is a child of the emotion of the universe, not the child of the abuse of the father with the mother during the pregnancy, or the love of the father to the child. Then we understand, you as knowledge seekers, how you have to understand to control your manifestation in position of transmutation connected to the fields of the universe and to emotion of the what we call dimension of interaction of the fields of the physicality of the man with his environment. in so many ways. As we progress, as we come to understand more about our own life, we find out we are actually nothing but connected to the universal community, with not knowing how, in the position of the physicality of the man, as a brain of the man, and the physical body of the man, where, in fact, our souls and the interaction of the field of the emotion and connection between the two leads as a field matter in a way to the dimension of the neurosystem of the man, which leads to the manifestation of the man and everything else which goes within the man. Where neurosystem brings in the manifestation of the connection of physicality, and the emotion brings the field dimension, which allows that manifestation of the matter state to manifest itself in a Ganser state, not in the matter state, the physicality of the man. And then it comes the interaction of the field of the environment, which is the womb of the mother. Because the egg came from this mother, so it has direct connection with. But when you bring in the child from the soul of the mother and the soul of the father, in that way, the child born to this emotion has no interaction as such with the environment, because it comes from the soul of the universe. It comes through carbon 14. It comes through the connection of the manifestation of the existence. If you understand this, this will revolutionize the world of the medicine of today. And this will change everything as we know. And secondly, further on, this will change the position of the transmutation for every one of you to know how to connect your emotion with the emotion of the soul and the dimension of point of manifestation. When you manifest yourself on the moon, then you decide, I want physicality through the emotion of the joy of the physicality you had on earth. You'll find you'll manifest yourself through that joy of emotion. You create the field that, with the interaction of the field of the moon, will lead to manifestation of you as a new creature which can survive on the moon in different shape and color. As I said, you don't want to go to the moon and live in a monkey suit. What a waste of time. Having the freedom of this planet to be caged in the cloth of a monkey. We haven't conquered. We'll never conquer the space if we rely on a manifestation of the monkey suit of the man. What happens when you land on a planet and the essence of the strength of the field of the cloth you wear to protect yourself as a monkey suit is in parallel and equal as the field of the environment. The clothes goes, what's going to happen to the physicality of the man? You die. Unless you manifest, you bring the change in the expansion of the soul of the man through connection with the universal rays and fields to manifest yourself in the time, place, and position. Maybe the creatures from another position in the universe on this planet are green and blue and 4 legs. And the man who came from the space of the atmosphere of the earth in this environment have 6 eyes and 2 legs. And when they cross each other, say, oh, this is from earth. It's got 2 eyes and 4 arms or 6 legs. And these are from another planet. We recognize ourselves the way we call you're Chinese, you're Indian, or whatever, by the shape of manifestation of our soul with the environment of the manifestation where we come from. Then you know the citizens of the earth who are on that planet. And then we become the true man of space. We actually join the universal community and not in the space and time which we have imprisoned ourselves to this planet. Now you understand how the extension of how you as knowledge seekers will come to in a way, exist and manifest yourself in a space, in transmutation. In one room, you create a magnetic field of having your blue eyes and green hair. In the room next door, you create a condition of having green eyes and blue skin. You go from one room to another and you manifest yourself as a different creature. But the wife knows because, oh, this is the guy. I know him. He was in the other room and this is the way it is. So if we realize the fundamental, the principle about the world of creation, where the reason why we have two split part of our brain with the emotions in two separate part of the brain, each one individually mapped out. And then now we understand that the emotion creates the field and the physicality neurosystem brings in the somatic side, then you understand how illnesses are created, how transmutation has to be done, how we're changing the emotion in the right way, balancing between the two half of the brain. We can change our height, we can change the color of our hair, we can do whatever we need. And this is part of the process of what we're going through in the teachings on a monthly basis. So it's not that I want to move, I create the emotion of moving. Then I can transmute. It's not that in there, I want to go to the moon. No, I create the condition of the emotion of the joy of being on the moon, and I'll be on the moon. And then I give myself a physicality because I transfer the joy, the physicality will transfer through. In the session of June of Keshe Foundation work, we're coming to the process of transmutation. And the knowledge seekers who are with us have to learn, instead of wanting to go, you have the creation of the emotion to be. This is what I said years ago with the Italian couple sitting in front row of the teaching of the, what we call in Valletta, and we said to move the cup, and the guy was pushing his eyes and arms. I said, this doesn't work. You're still stuck in the matter of physicality. You have to give the joy to the cup. I'll enjoy to see you moving for my pleasure. The cup will move. Even if you understood that even a cup has a soul, the physical structure of every atom is a dynamic field that the collective, what we call structure, has made shape of the, what we call the whole understanding of the creation. If you understand this, how we can change, we can bring about the condition of manifestation, the condition of transmutation through the emotion. Now that you understand the process, and if the balance is not there between the emotion and the physicality and the emotion of the left and the right side of the man, you'll be born, or you'll be manifesting with one leg missing, because it did not happen. And we see this balance of the creation of the organs out of the fields of the emotion of wanting the organ in the zebrafish leads it to manifest any organ that it loses. You take the heart out, it builds his heart. You take his leg out, it builds his leg. Reptiles do it outside, zebrafish does it inside. because it has brought balance in the emotional totality of its existence on both sides of the brain. And the connection to neural system does not need to have a heart. You take the heart because the field is created in that position with the interaction of the emotion of wanting to live lead to the creation of the heart, which connects to everything else. And if, as knowledge seekers, we understand this, if as knowledge seekers we follow this through, we'll find out that soon we become part of the universal community by our own choice and not by a system. We give you the runway. It's you who has to put the plane on it to take off and be a captain to know how to take that plane off that runway. What I show, what is on the screen and explain, if you as knowledge seekers and the world of science understands, the whole world of medicine will change. Because up to now we didn't understand that fields of the emotion creates. Have you ever touched somebody touch your toe and you feel it immediately in the whole of your body? How come? Neural system are matter state in a conductive environment. How come you suddenly instantaneously feel it? This is because of the line of the emotion on this planet, line of emotion sitting on this instantaneous connection. And then this brings a new understanding, not only into the world of medicine, but in the world of transmutation, transportation, and the life of them. Then you understand in a bigger picture how once this soul, this dimension, what we call in the soul of the man, comes to balance with another one, you create trinity. Because it's in balance with itself. It has kept the integrity of the physicality. Age will never come to the man. Physicality changes shape, but the age of the soul still will be as the day he was born. You can move from one physicality to other. That's the secret of everlasting life. Not everlasting in the dimension of physicality, everlasting in the dimension of the soul of the man, which you can go from one physicality to the other because you control the soul. This is the true everlasting life. This is the true fountain of youth, because the physicality changes. Just because the clothes you wear has got old, do you throw and finish the physical body which wears the clothes, or you just change and buy a new clothes? And this is how you live in a space for thousands of years, millions of years, the time of the man, because million years in time of man is nothing in the world of the creation. And then once you travel and live in that dimension, you come to realize. Then you understand how the world of creation works. How everything and anything comes from a simple motion division of one plasma unit. You call it the fundamental plasma, which in balance with this environment, giving to live, split itself into two. That not only I live, but I live to live within the environment which I live. That's what hydrogen is. And living to live with the environment which is in it, in interacting with the elements of it, creates water, which is the essence of the life, essence of giving. Why do you have H2O and from it create life? In truth, is H2O is the same two part of the sections of the brain of the man which are in harmony and interaction with the oxygen, with gravitational field, allows absorption of the fields to the others, and creates from an atom in a molecule, and then the oceans and the universes. And then you need only one hydrogen to create every element of the universe through the emotion, dimension of the emotion, interaction of the fields of the emotion with each other. You can give it any physicality, which that interaction of the fields to sustain the soul and its interaction with this environment creates the emotion and reaction of the field of the soul with the environment. Then it gives you the process of the manifestation through the emotion. So instead of you having a soul of physicality to manifest yourself with the presence of the plasma of the soul, now the environment becomes the soul of physicality. And the soul of the man in interaction gives you the emotion to decide how you will like to manifest yourself at a point of position as what we call the transmutation. You transfer the whole energy, the whole life of the man into one cell, you call it the plasma, to one neutron. And that neutron, in arriving in a new position, interacting with the field of his environment, it divides itself, which the interaction of leaves what we call the gap space, the emotion of the man. And then you manifest yourself, and then you multiple. You need only one atom of hydrogen, you need only one neutron, the fundamental element, the fundamental plasma, to create a universe. This is how the creator created universe, from one plasma, from interaction of the field within one, has created the unicos. And this is what you can do. This is the knowledge you carry from today, but you understand you can only create the manifestation if you add the fields of what you call the emotion. Again, I'll go back. From the first teachings in the medical side, I kept on saying the emotion in the layers. Now you understand how you, as what we call knowledge seekers, being equipped, understanding this knowledge, should be able, there should be no problem. All of you should be able to transmute at the flip of a finger. And I keep on saying, it's the emotion. You have to understand the game, the emotion is a dynamic field, has no connection to no physicality. It's a representation of the energy center of the man and the interaction of it with the energy center of the environment. That emotion leads into interaction between the two to physical manifestation of the man. In a way, if you look at it, the soul of the man becomes the left side of the brain, and the soul of the environment becomes the right side, and the emotion in between two gives you the physicality of the manifestation at the point, the time, and the place. And if you, as knowledge seeker, ever understand this principle, if the world of science understand this, man will have no time to live everlasting life. Man has no problem to live the fountain of youth from the establishment of the soul of the man to the time when he feels, I have served the Creator, I gathered enough to confirm the existence of the beauty of his creation, then I move on. You never need to die. Be it a helicopter crash, be it putting on the cross, be it any other condition. Life is precious, but if and if only exists in the dimension of the soul, in the dimension of interaction of the soul and the emotion of the emotion created by the interaction of the field of that soul with its environment. Then you can live anywhere. All you need, you move the soul till you find a time and place and position. One day a shepherd, another day, another thing, hundreds of years later, another thing, because 1,000 years in the life of the space and the universe for a soul is a flip of a finger. But the man, ooh, is 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Then you understand how man has gripped itself with the fallacy of time, which doesn't actually exist in the dimension of the creation. Because time starts from the position where the interaction of the emotion with dimension of field of the environment leads to startup of a new combination of field works we call the life. As we say, whenever you catch a fish, it's always fresh. Because the separation of the life of the fish in the water and outside is in your hand. The zero time ends in the water and the zero time starts in your hand. You put that fish in a tank you allow it to live. You put that fish in a pot and you cook it. Now you are the decider of that soul. And that fish is your physicality. That fish is your emotion that decides which way to go. An end or a start, a beginning of a new life in a new environment. The interaction of the fields of the emotion with the current flow of the what we call physical dimension of the man leads to the creation of the physicality of the man. And that's why when we see certain shapes, certain figures, certain colors, certain shape of the body, we say this is their behavior. Because that behavior is created out of the emotion, and that emotion has created this physicality, which shows everyone with this dimension of emotion has such a physicality. Not this physicality has that behavior. Because it's the emotion which created the fields of the emotion is the reason for the creation of this physicality. And once we understand this, once the world of science understands this, you can cure any disease, you can transmute anywhere, and you can manifest yourself in any shape, color, size, or race, or animal shape, or a stone, anywhere in the universe, and not just only on this. This is why when we put you in the systems and lens, some of you became a fish, you became mermaid and everything else, because the soul, the emotion, the joy brought you into where you wanted to be, and you manifest yourself and you saw yourself in that position, time and place. That's why I said, we never tell you you're wrong because you made the journey. It's the emotion of you who has created that physicality because you always wanted to be a mermaid. And this is where, as knowledge seekers, you have to start understanding this, that, as always said, by controlling the emotion, you will create, manifest, transmute, transfer, and everything within yourself. And if you go to another step to understanding, to find the matching fields of your emotions with another soul, we call it twin souls, then you don't need to talk because you live one life in totality. You become like a molecule than two individual atoms. And then life is a different meaning. So you understand, all this needs a feeding system, needs a feeding energy, which as a soul, as an emotion, does not eat food, but connects to universal fields and what we call carbon-14, or field of the cosmic rays, the rays of cosmic rays, and in connection and due to its interaction by the level of the fields, which is created in the physical brain of the man, has a limitation and a strength for every dimension, which that dimension, that strength create joy, happiness. With joy, your skin goes hair top. With your anger, your skin shivers, and the sweat comes from every cell body of the man instantaneously. because it's this field which has created it, not the neural system of the man. Feel the emotion. The body still produces that 60 heartbeats and pressure, whatever, and salinity of whatsoever, and the sugar of whatsoever. The change in the strength of this field of the emotion changes the manifestation of the skin. And now you understand, you call it the psychosomatic, this disease, touching you, the joy, the anger, and the field and the laughter is another psychosomatic, but this time it's you who decides what's going to be to me, and it's me how I decide to manifest the emotion in the dimension of physicality. The sooner you knowledge seekers understand this, that you control the soul through the fields, through the emotion, then transmutation for you become a child play. And as long as you're trying to get yourself this physicality, everything with you on the backpack, try again and again. In the trials of last week with the knowledge seekers on a monthly basis, we could clearly see this. And how one knowledge seekers can bring the rest of the knowledge seekers down. And change the position, because they are in the environment of the plasma of the system and they're all affect each other. Then you understand how most of you who've been in the sessions, how you have connected to every other soul in the shape or form, and you become part of the satellite, the structure of the system, which we run to test, to evolve, to teach you how to transmit. I hope from today's teaching will come understanding, and it will change the course of the history and the medicine of the man. And one day, scientists, when they open these teachings from today, will understand how far ahead the knowledge is, but the man needs to understand step by step that they can open up. And this is why 10 years ago, in the teachings of the what I call health teachings with another knowledge seekers, we kept on speaking about the emotion. Now you understand how important the emotion is in that dimension of the interaction of the fields of the man with its environment, of body of itself, which leads to its own manifestation. And then, if you step further, if you understand this in another level, you understand how you can change the genes. That you have no children with diseases to be born, because you elevate, you transfer, you create the dimension of the fields, which changes the plasma dimension of what you call the DNA and what you call whatever else, because they're all packets of energy. You bring it the balance, you bring it the emotion fields, that the fields of the structure find itself in a balance, and no child will be born handicapped, no child will be born with deficiencies, and no with defects. I hope you knowledge seekers understand this, because if you bring that deficiency in the soul of you in transmutation, it's you who will be born with those defects in the new environment which you started life with. So you have to understand this, that you through this never create a child with defects, because that child in the new environment is you. And you have to understand the totality of the emotion of the creation, the totality of the science of it, that how emotion in interaction in the field of the environment leads to the manifestation of the physicality of the entity. Listen to this teaching a number of times, and then try to understand. And then in the next sessions of transmutation, you will transmute in no time. And you don't need to ask yourself, did I go there? I saw such a thing. No, I went there, I did, because I decided. Now we gave this chance to our knowledge seekers. We leave it to you. You decide what you want to go, where you want to go. For you to understand your fears of handling your emotions, because the emotion is the manifestation. And those who have the fear of handling never go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere, nothing happened to me. And the others travel the span of the universe the way they. We go for a break, we come back. Hope As knowledge seekers, you understand, and how things take shape through the emotion of them. Rick, if you would like to take us through, and we'll see.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Beautiful drawings too for finger painting. I think it's frameable.
I don't know. I have to learn a bit more.
Oh, it's great. I like it. It's very direct, and the colors are brilliant. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go for a small break and we come back.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We are at the 539th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 23rd, and we'll take a short break and be back.
The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit. A plasma space technology to prepare humanity for transportation and transmutation in deep space. Essential processes are embedded to prevent mutations and psychosomatic conditions during deep space travel. This new system is designed to support upper body conditions, especially of the lungs and intestines, and can be targeted specifically for each organ. When inside the Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the body experiences balance in totality, enabling it to correct and rebalance all the fields within itself. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a dimension in health and transportation never seen before.
The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a space technology that allows you to work with the fields of the universe, creating and conditions. It allows the body to process itself from any physical or emotional imbalance. Once this balanced condition is achieved, the soul and emotion of the man can follow to find their balance, elevating the whole of the man. The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit. Technology of the future through advanced plasma knowledge.
Water is the foundation of our life. It is part of every living creature. Pure water gives you the energy of nature. Now you can have this energy in your home. The Keshe Foundation Alkalizer and Energizer is designed for your daily well-being. It increases the pH of the water so your body can absorb more oxygen and stay in its natural condition during the day. Keshe Foundation Alkalizer and Energizer. Be pure like the water.
Okay, thank you everyone. We're back again at the 539th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And this is the second half, and therefore we have the opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. And folks in our Zoom meeting here can put questions in the Q&A, can type them in there, or in the chat if you like. And if you wish to ask a verbal question, you can get your microphone open by raising your virtual hand here, and then we can acknowledge you and open the microphone. And folks in the YouTube can post a question if they would like in the chat there. Okay, Mr. Keshe, are you ready to begin the second part here? Is there some things you'd like to say?
Yes, we're ready to go. There is something which we announced some time ago regarding the conference in Iran. In next week or two, we will announce not the exact time, but the period that the conference in Isfahan will take shape. And those of you who want to join us, you have to register, because we have to give a number of the people who participate, and then we can sort out the rest with our, what we call, permission. In next week, 2 weeks or so, we announce the date, and if you want to register for the Iran conference, which will be held in Isfahan, we have to gather the total numbers very rapidly in a month or so to be able to inform the, what we call, the authorities in Iran, to be able to start the process of the license to start the conference and the publication of it, which we hope to be in November of this year. And so be ready, those of you who want to be or you arrange to be. We will announce this within the next couple of weeks that you can enroll. And then, as usual, as we said last time, then we explain to you which day. And we try to get most of you through London to Isfahan, or from Vienna to Isfahan. That collectively, as knowledge seekers, we travel together into the beautiful city of Isfahan. So be prepared if you're planning to go to a conference in Tehran or in Iran, that you have a pre-understanding, organizing and everything else. Your visas and everything else will be organized to Iran Foreign Office, and the rest of it, which we take, we'll look after all that once we give your names and whatever details from you be in that conference. Are there any questions?
Okay, thank you. Yes, indeed, we do have questions as usual here. And let me see, let's start out with Peng Peter in the YouTube has a question about cosmic rays. Cosmic rays allows one to transmute in the universe. Is it the same in the unicos, or does one have to change the strength of the soul too?
It's just different strengths which takes you to different places. And in the physical life, we say how much fuel you got in your tank decides how far you can go. We gather that strength during the cycle of life, through the absorption, through our conduct, through our life, in our soul, which decides where and how we go and where we land as a final destination as a soul. But in the time of transmutation, we use a different approach, and we decide the sharing the strength of which car we take for a drive. We're going in a racing car to go fast, or we go in a normal car, we go on the bicycle, just let's pedal a little bit. We don't need to go that fast. But that's all becomes on the decision of the interaction of the emotion and the soul of the man. Which strength you want to wear. If you choose and you understand the totality of the creation, and you know what the strength sits, the strength of the creator, instantly you can reach the soul of the creator. And some of you will pedal for millions of years and still haven't got even to starting point. So the strength which you have a choice to choose gives you that dimension. In Christianity, somebody down the line understood something, but they never could shape it, and then it started getting abused, and misused for the sake of some people. But if you understand the level of saints, true saints who did things, and allow them to reach, not just because they did something people liked and they just made them saints and the rest of it. The true saints, the original saints, even today, there are those who live and create that condition. They are those who understand which strength to use and what was that strength to be there. And then you say it's a saint of fisherman or is a saint of this, because he could transfer that energy from within to the soul of man who fishes. This hunger to share. If you're a fisherman just to kill as much as, or you're a fisherman that it saves life and brings a balance, then you understand what even that saint means. But in overall, it's been abused in a beyond imagination. But in a way, that's what it is. You decide the strength of the belief, the soul, the emotion, and then you can feel anybody who feels that emotion taps to you. Any other question?
We have a hand up here with Selena. Selena, would you like to go ahead, please?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dick. And good morning, good afternoon, whatever Mr. Keshe you have, your time. I have a question. I have little bit understanding, but I want your confirmation about that. Whatever you teach today, I understand, and I have experienced little bit, so that's why I understand a little bit. Now I'm gonna say like that way, like in the park, one person is walking, and anyhow other person and another person have a gun, and he shoot the person who is walking in the park. So in this condition, in their soul, both of them agree to happen this that occurration, or like one soul has a power, more power to other. You understand, right? What I'm saying?
Yes, you see, this is not, there are different ways and different means for different reasons for that man to be there to shoot, and by accident, whatever, that person to be on the road to get shot at. Is it the soul agreed to be, or is it by coincidence of the, what do you call it, presence, that one gets caught in the other?
Yeah.
This, nobody knows how the soul have agreed, or is one soul who has decided to just do, to be accidentally, I want to do, and I do what I want, and then we'll see. In cases of plants which we grow and we eat, feed ourselves from it, that condition is accepted in the structure of the soul of the plants, rice or wheat. This is what we do, we give, and then from what we give collectively, we get to higher to the soul of the man, because our soul is whatever, and become part of the man and bigger structure. But when that's a life we finish, when we eat the rice, because we add the energy of the soul of that grain of rice to us. But when we go out and we see somebody shooting another one, is the soul agreed? Is there been an arrangement for that soul to be at that point and place? Because the guy who got killed, maybe he wished I go out not to come home, or it accidentally happened, or the guy who shot or made the firing the gun to lead to an end, the soul was set up through this to come to another point in its structure and life which is set up by soul. We never know. unless we become part of the structure of the boat to see what the arrangement has been. It's impossible because there is so many combination of the interactions in trillions of trillions that we have not devised a system to measure all and to see what and where.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Thank you. Yeah.
you're welcome.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Ivan would like to speak. Can you open your microphone there, Ivan?
Yeah. Do you
We
hear
hear
me?
you now. Yes, go ahead. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I'm Ivan from Bulgaria. A long time no see. Um, Today, I wanted to discuss another topic, but watching the teaching, and you touched some very interesting points about the soul and the movement of fields. So, in a way, I'm just wondering how to structure this in the correct way. So, may I present a little bit of understanding, like practical understanding, how we can go into the field? And maybe if I go wrong in the direction, you can just correct me. Hello?
I don't understand what you're talking about. You have to explain yourself.
I mean, today you were speaking how the neural system is connected with the fields of the soul and how we can change and transmute in different ways and forms. And after 10 years already in his teaching, how you like to say, I'm already out of my schizophrenic mind of matter state and plasma state. So we can think only in plasma. So what I was doing is I'm able to go to this condition that is how the yoga say between sleep and not asleep, and feel the fields in the body, like in a very interesting way. We can control it and play with them around. I'm still not sure which direction to go, but let's provide some instructions. Like, let's say if you lie down and you bend like every part of the body a little bit, then close your eyes and just count from 100 to 0 backwards. You are able to feel initially the fields that are in the outer part of the body, and then the nervous system. So if you are able to keep your concentration like this for like until you count down and maybe you start again the first time, it feels like the body is parked and you're able to feel where is the tension in every cell and part of the body. And what I was not able to do before, that I'm able to do now, is actually to navigate this tension out. Like, let's say if I have tension in my leg, I can easily just imagine how the tension is going in certain direction, and it follows the instructions. It's very interesting. So in a way, we can even imagine that you rotate, let's say, the left part, and then you rotate the right part in a different direction, and then you get certain feeling between the body and stuff like this. So by going into this condition, like you said, that a minute of our life for the unicos is nothing, you just close your eyes and for you it's like 5 minutes, but when you open them, it's like 4 hours. So it's very interesting condition when you actually go into the body. The time is like flying away. So my question is here, like when we are in that state that we can actually go past the nervous system and we can control the fields of the body with our intention, like how we can go from that point on to reach further. to what was explained today?
You don't need to go much further. You need to understand better. And if you get to that point, then you understand it's very easy. You don't have no problem with it. You have to understand how to manipulate the fields of the creation and not to work with the fields of the creation. And that manipulation of the fields, the essence of emotion, is the secret of transmutation. And how you interact with the environment and how you manifest yourself within the environment. And it's not the first time. In the past, many, many souls have understood that. If you go back in the history of man, we have had people who could sit on a bench, be a dog in 1 second, be a man another second, become a bird the second after, and a stone, and convert back to the man. Because they understood the emotion of each animal, each condition, and they created it. And so did the physicality turned. And this is a key to it. Creation of emotion. Then you don't need the nerve system to handle it, because nerve system uses the emotion to create what is there. And we had done everything the wrong way. We understood the physiology of the man the wrong way.
Yeah, this part I'm missing. I'm not sure which emotion to create for what. I'm able to control the fields and the movements and feel them how I want, but I'm not sure what to do with them.
It's like people it's just like the emotion has a certain strength and certain capacity, and that is strength. And this is what you need to understand. And then you can control. It's like an emotion of love. You love a person and you create that emotion of love, but you get lost in the emotion to the dimension of physicality, and you move, instead of loving your lover, to the physical act of whatever comes next, where you can actually don't cross that line, but strengthen the field of the emotion of loving. You can reach a higher level of joy than actual physical interaction or what comes next. But on the other hand, we come here, or our soul decides to accept the dimension of the physicality, in the strength of physicality, that we enjoy the beauty of the physicality. We have subjected ourselves to the emotion up to the limit of the physicality. We have not allowed our life, our soul, our emotion to go one step after physicality. Then if we can do that, then we experience different dimension, which physicality, because it's a lower strength in the package, is irrelevant. We do that with our child. When you love your child so deeply, you hug your wife, your partner, with the different emotion of love, and you move with your child next to her, which created by her for both of you to enjoy, and you give a different emotion of love to this thing you created. You don't have the same feeling, emotion of physicality with your child as you have with your wife, and you don't have that with your child, with your wife. Because we have learned to create a different sense of emotion and love, one for the mother and a wife, and one for a daughter or a child as a child. This is where we stop. We have to extend this. Can we embrace the universe the way we love our child? Then we find an answer. Because we have different children. We love them different way. And how we pass that love, we strengthen it. I was in a situation a few weeks ago. It was one of the most beautiful things to observe. I was in a queue. There was a father, two daughters, maybe in their late teens, early 20s, and a mother. And we had to queue. We couldn't go anywhere. They closed the gate. We just got trapped. It was them and us and a few other people in the queue. We just waiting. And this father, every few minutes, touched so lovingly, with such a purity, his daughters. When he touched his daughter, he touched in a different way of emotion the second daughter. And then because the wife was standing next to him, he was touching the wife with a totally different emotion, as a love that you have given me these two to love. And he must have lived, it was not fake, it was so beautiful. And in that 10-15 minutes we were standing there, this was a continuous confirmation of adoring the two girls. And the father was so gentle, because other things came up in that time that it showed this is nature. And then loving the mother for giving this love. And he's done that for 20 years. And he was showering from his face, from his feature. And we need, how can we love what we call love a woman, love a child of our own, which comes from that woman, and then we love other things. What about if we bring everything to be loved the way we love our children? A lot of people tell me, oh, Mr. Keshe, you're so simple. That's why the knowledge seekers come and do all these things. And I said, that's there. I give them the love. It's them who steal from themselves, but not getting any more. It's not me cutting from them. They themselves cut themselves from it. Because it's the same love. It's the same as we share knowledge. I don't say, oh, all the English people go out and all the Dutch people go somewhere else. I just want to teach to the Germans or to the Americans. We share equally. All of you, there's hundreds, thousands of you on the line and listen to this teaching in the next few days. It doesn't make any difference. My knowledge, my love to you is equal. Doesn't matter what race, religion, culture, size, shape, blind, handicap, professor, whoever you are. And that in exchange changes to a knowledge that you do things, and my love, my emotion is my knowledge which I give you. How you change it, that emotion, with your physicality to create what? Some of you enjoy to help the others, and some of you create their own cancer because it shows your greed to everything else. You have put a block on the level of the fields to the level of matter of physicality. You have to let it go, and then you can do everything.
Thank you. I will see how to proceed with that. Really interesting place to observe and play with.
Yeah. Try to understand.
Interesting thing.
It's you who has created that limitation. I can feel this, I can feel that. Don't put limitation, feel everything, and then you see what happens.
What is interesting in that is the first time when you go in, you are actually wondering if what you feel is real or you're just imagining it, because it's so different.
So different,
but
yeah.
Then when we come to understanding of the fields and the motion of the different fields and plasma state, we can see that you actually, the finger that you see moving from inside is moving from the central point, and you are seeing the outside of it moving. So in the same way, we can feel everything inside moving and not only observe what is with our eyes, which is the interesting point.
It just needs practicing. Just needs practicing.
There is one more thing that I wanted to actually share with everyone, and maybe you can deepen my understanding. There is something that we did, and I see very positive impact on the people around me because I actually share it with them. And I do understand it in a certain way because of this teaching, and I'm trying not to think in matter state. In a way, through physical exercise, we are able to bring a little bit more balance to the body and make it grow equally in certain points. And this is achieved through something called time under tension when we get the weight. So everybody can try this, just go to every gym and choose a weight that you can move for 80 seconds or more. And what I understand that this does is because the emotion of waiting is through our brain. So every time that we take something, we are actually squeezing energy out of the brain to the body, which creating a different fuse state to the central spine, cord, and nervous system, which in fact is changing the central field of the plasma, which create a different condition within the body. So with every workout like this, we are seeing that everybody is getting stronger and feeling better. Like we do only one set, so you do one exercise for 80 seconds and you just try to work the muscle into different ways. We can see just different exercise from YouTube. This is, of course, a little bit more basic that you were speaking about the soul, but it's a simple way to develop the body and get rid of the pain in a physical way matter, I believe. So, do you understand this correctly? Do we actually really increase the central gravitational field of the body? Or I'm missing something?
All depends on the condition of accepting the what you do and what purpose you put to it. It's like, you know, the people who you do what's become fashionable, these exercises or whatever, they tell you you have to go to the point of feeling muscle pain, and that's when the actual body works. Not nearly, not necessarily. You don't need to put the body into its ultimate point of what we call the pain or whatever for the thing to work, that you can get benefit by it. The same is, you don't need to go to the higher extreme of fields or a strength to get something. We got to learn, and when becomes more common understanding for ourselves, you don't need 80 seconds. You need no seconds to reach that point. If you understand that, you have to go lower than going higher. And this is what we have created for ourselves in the, what they call it, life of the man. Everything has to be bigger, everything has to be more of, to be, and this is exactly where we go wrong. You have to learn to go to a lower field to get to the higher positions, to get to the higher, to, or what we call it, to give, to receive. You have to empty, you have to go in a lower field of strength to be able to be in a bigger common denominator of strength to be in touch with. The creator doesn't come, I'm on the top and your soul is within me. We are within the soul of the creator. He is so humble. And this is what we don't understand. Man does not. When man understands this, man has brought the change for him to become easier to reach a lot of other things. Be it transmutation, being feeding the body of the man and the rest of it. We haven't understood this, and we're always looking, is like what we call Russian policy, the bigger buildings, everything has to be huge, then we have something. The man who has a little cottage, lives a simple life, understands more than the present, living in the palaces of the nations. He's more closer to himself than they are to themselves, and either way they call it God or Creator or whatever. Try to go to reverse instead of 80 seconds. go for no second and try to achieve instantaneous position. Then you understand. Why do you wait to gather it? Understand this is what happens. I can do it the way I want it, the minute I want it. It's a very big difference because we have not understood the operation of the creation. That's why we make so many rules by it. Because it has no rules, it's understanding. And it has no condition except giving, which is the love. Any other question? Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. We have Andrea in the Q&A here, who has a couple of questions. She says, hello, Mr. Keshe. I was in the meeting last Friday. I sent you the testimonial by email. Thank you for this great experience. I have two questions. This time I didn't have a planet as a destination, but just wanted to travel through the universe and see everything. My feeling was that I was driving or swimming on the cosmic rays. I couldn't see planets or stars. In a way, everything was black, and I felt like I was somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Can you tell me something about that?
As I always say, I wasn't there. I don't know where you've been.
But you've probably been in the middle of nowhere at some point, so you can probably give her some direction.
It's interesting how knowledge seekers had the experience this week. I mean, last week in the session. We brought in a new system, and the totality of was that we said what we call transmutation for you lot to understand what to do. We changed the phases, we understood, we brought in position of the cosmic fields, cosmic rays, we brought in condition of the cosmic soul in a way. And this system in the next session will be much more sophisticated, completed, and will fit in any dimension. If you be the soul of, or you decide to be the soul of a stone, to be a soul of the vegetation or life, or the soul of the man as an energy, they all will be covered in that, and it allows you to transmute. This system hopefully will be ready by next session, and then we will see how we move to the next step, and how you as knowledge seekers will understand exactly what you're doing. Some of the knowledge seekers planned what they wanted to do last Thursday, and they write to us, this was my plan, section point, section 2, section 3, to be there to do in section 4 and the rest of it. And then systematically they change. We never announced we're going to the next section, to the next section. They set it up themselves. And how they went, what they did. And it's very interesting, this session, this time. Next time, before I forget, all of you knowledge seekers who participate in these monthly sessions, next session, June session, all of you bring with yourself 2 head units. And if you can have access to 2 mobile units, or connecting your 2 head units together to 1 mobile unit. We tell you is not something which is done before. It's an experience which allows you to go to a dimension to be able to transmute faster. Any other question?
Okay, Andrea has a second question. She says, I noticed a knowledge seeker on my trip, but she didn't notice me. Another knowledge seeker wasn't in the session and noticed me, but I didn't notice her. It's similar to telepathy, which I sometimes use. There is no time, but there still seems to be something like timelines. As I understand it, I rule out the possibility that the soul is not open at this moment. Otherwise, telepathy would not be possible. The only answer, what I can find for me, is the frequencies are not on the same level at this moment. What explanation do you have for this?
No, there is no frequency in the plasma solar state. You are not at the same strength. It's like two aircrafts flying one top or near each other and following the same path. It's exactly, they are there, but they have no connection, but they're aware of each other. Have you ever been, especially if you fly to big cities, like O'Hare Airport, or you fly to London or sometimes Paris, your plane, you arrive to London, but you never land. You're hovering in a circle, parked position, they call it, very, very high. And then you see, oh, you came closer to the cloud below, and then the plane which was there is going to be lower, but the third plane below you is already disappeared in the cloud. But you're all following the same path. I videoed this once. You sit in the plane, happens in London, Heathrow quite a lot. They put you on a big, what they call park position. Outside London, away from London, they keep 10, 20 aircraft just circling around, and somewhere they're in tune with each other, they're above each other, and you can video 2 or 3 planes in there and stacking. They've got nothing to do with each other, but they're waiting for one to go through, for the other one to be able to come down to land to where the other one landed. And if you compare that to a strength, you have to bring yourself to a strength of lower to be more in common, to be nearer to what you call the lover. At too high, you're not reachable. The lover is the earth, you want to land on it. And this is the same as the structure of the soul. We have to learn to come lower. We think we have to have a bigger to achieve bigger. We have to go to the lower strength, and then we find a path to everything. And this is what a lot of knowledge is struggle with. Life did not start with gold. Life started with hydrogen, which made the gold. Which is what you have to understand. Because that hydrogen is a gold on its own. So it knows how to make gold from itself. Any other question?
Okay, we have a couple of questions on the brain and lungs from Claudia, who says, yesterday we studied about what you said today in the teaching of the 158. You said if you control your lungs, now you can see, you decide the flow of the energy, and with it, you decide the shape of the man. My question is, how can I control my lungs, and which type of breathing is better to achieve this?
You don't need to control your lungs. You have to understand the energy. And this is, I explained a few times, but knowledge seekers don't understand. I try to explain it again in a different way. Let me see if I can get this right. Yes, we have. You call it N-O-C-H. Or we call it Mr. Cohen. Yeah. In the world of the matter state, this N is nitrogen. In the world of cosmic ray, this is carbon-14. This is how the man is connected to universe. And scientists don't understand this. That's why nitrogen is the energy basket. That's why you put nitrogen on the ground. because you connect the ground to cosmic rays, will take from the universe what it needs. And we do not understand. And there is a limit into how much energy the physical matter of the soul can take from the cosmic ray. When it's too much, you get all the problems. Because you have the connection to the physicality, you have gravitation, you have the energy source. This needs what to feed the energy source, the reserve tank. But this is carbon 14, N14, or carbon 14. This connects you to the universal energy, and it's part of the structure. But that's all you need to control. But man is not aware of the knowledge. So, oh, it is amino acid. Yes, this is connected to the matter state of the man. This connects you to the universal energy. And if you understand this, then you understand a lot. Why you breathe, it changes because 65% of the air you breathe is N14, it's nitrogen. 16% of it is oxygen. You are connected to the universal fields and just ignore your own existence. Any other question?
Okay, well, that helped to answer part of Danella's question, which was next. There's actually 3 questions.
Do these people go into sessions with our friend? Questions are increasing with Jalal.
Yes, well, it's contagious, I guess.
Right.
She says, recently you taught us that the hemispheres of the brain alternate every 4 hours and only one half is awake at a time during the night. So the question is, how is it during the day?
The same. They are not man chosen, not the body. This is chosen by the man. If you want to change your screen, please click. What happened to the guy who does a night shift and sleeps during the time when you're awake? 24 hours a day, there is a rest point. There's operation, and the rest point is not a total rest point, it's lower energy fields because the lower levels in the system needs to be nourished. But we call it repair. When your body goes through rest, it energizes the full spectrum from the lower in the plasma to the higher. It's not just that everything gets done, it's just one level energy. Any other questions? Shall we call it a day? If there's any more questions. As we have a very long day today.
Yes, right. Perhaps we can just finish with her question here, which is, then you taught that at the moment when both hemispheres of the brain are synchronized, emotional trauma can be established. Can this moment, the question is, can this moment also be used again to re-traumatize so that the soul can take over and transform or elevate the emotions? And when do we know when both hemispheres of the brain are in equilibrium? Can this be trained?
Yes, and in the June session we start training that. We hopefully announce in July a session of maybe 2 a month for a short time before Iranian conference for developing this, how to use to bring your emotion in control and the transmutation system. There's a possibility that if we succeed with Iran conference, we will show the transmutation as much as the transportation in Iran. And then we expand on the New Washington. This is important for us to do because the transportation and transmutation becomes one. And if you learn how to transfer energies within the transmutation time, then you can manifest anytime, anywhere. and the energy spectrum of the field strength will manifest itself in a totally new dimension. The secret of creation is that field flow, which scientists have never understood. If you look at them, they show you a brain and they say, oh, this spot is for emotion, this is spot. My God, this spot for emotion is the essence of the creation of you, because as we say, you don't look at how small the pepper is, you can see how it is, how hot it is. So there are tiny spots where you connect to an ocean. They are the ones which create dynamic flow fields. And that dynamic flow fields in the interaction with the matter state creates the physicality of them. And then blood gives it the dimension, what we call the soul of physicality. You have to understand the state of energy, the state of matter, the state of plasma, the state of what we call field creation, cosmic and cosmic fields. And once you master these, everything is easy to go from one to another. Any other question, or shall we call it a day?
I know we'd like to get going here. Just there's a couple of questions about the situation in Iran after the helicopter incident. Is there anything you'd like to say about that, or anything you can shed light on?
My opinion, and I have cleared that to the Iranian leadership in a very direct communication, is we do not believe scientifically, data in hand, that is a natural process. But we keep our opinion, and my strongest opinion is we don't look at the situation which is today. We see who will be the beneficiary of this internally in Iran. In what I heard and what we hear within the structure, and we have made advice to those who have the ears of us with the leadership, that as much as you can claim this was an accident, this was a sabotage from outside, in what has emerged in past hours, is my belief, personal belief, that this was planned internally from inside Iran. And we will see the outcome of this. We have already seen, which gives us strength to this, that who merges to become and who people like Rasai were obstacle to that position to be achieved. And my straightforward answer has been what needs to be done, and I inform the Iranian leadership what it is. We are heading towards a monarchy, and this is a part of that structure, which is what we see and what we believe, and this is what will not be. And this could be part of the internal struggle as much as people talk about whether or whatever. We see who will benefit to become, to replace man to be. We've seen this in the Saudi monarchy in the past 10 years with the appointment of the new prince. Everything was set for him to be. And we are warned this, and if Iran heads towards the religious monarchy, it's better not to have any monarchy. And this, to us, especially with what has come out in the past 24 hours, internally from Iran's security, puts more light on this than actually was Mossadegh, was the conspiracy theory of the others. This could not, it's not an accident. If you've been in the helicopter business and flown in conjunction with the other people you fly with you, especially when you have your head of security and you don't suddenly disappear and something happens, there's a lot of ifs and buts, and when you look at the accent on the top, you understand there is much more than what it is. Because this is not a helicopter crashing into. It's a helicopter which is internally paralyzed. And as we know, everything else of it, I believe when we see if I'm correct, maybe 100% wrong, this has been an internal struggle. And these two guys were part of that creation of what we call monarchy. We have to understand, according to the scientific data, Ayatollah Khamenei has a couple of years left because of his cancer and everything else. And the others who have been pampered to become, and you had to remove the man who was possibly sitting for that position. And there are other things happening with Iran, 5+1 and negotiation and push with Shanghai Cooperation and the rest of it, which brought a direction which they don't want to go. And a new prince to come to be set to keep that status quo. Because we learned from the sons of Ayatollah Khamenei and Ayatollah Khomeini how they actually were groomed to become, and we saw how Khomeini's sons were eliminated by those who were looking for a position. And this time the solution is reverse. I'm a great believer that this was, from what I hear on the security, knowing the flight position, knowing, understanding, that this could be something very well inside set up by those who have a different angle on how they'll benefit on the passing of Ayatollah Khamenei. I mean, the conspiracy theory that the Israelis have done this, that I gathered data shows there's a possibility, but direct information, telephone communications, shortage, lockout, cutout does not. When you have two helicopter flying information with you, it gives a different information. And we sit and watch. We literally sit and watch. But my belief in past 24 hours, with more and more extract comes internally from Iran, strengthen the point of view that we have to look at the possibility of a struggle within Iran to keep a monarchy established that they can benefit by it, because it's supposed to become a committee, and the people who are in that position don't like a committee. They would like to see my son to become. And we saw what happened to the children of the Khomeini, the two sons, and preventing those who could prevent this in the future, which is very strong, a strong possibility. Because the information of the way the helicopters disappeared does not add up with the accident with the phone. The way we see it's landed, it is landed straight down, which means it has lost control at height. It hasn't crashed into, which is totally different principle. And I've seen the simulation for this from the securities, and more belief that even it could be something internal. But we see the future politics of Iran will set out, because the people who are supposed to be this committee after Ayatollah Khamenei are already carrying British and American passport in their pockets. You have to go back to understand the whole politics of the Middle East, and look what it is. We'll leave it that way. We'll see if we see in the cries of a crocodile or the true emotional accidents, which I don't believe so. Because data and information is put out indicates a lot to be even internally from Iran. These two people were very much anchored in that direction. And we're seeing the youngest son-in-law of Ayatollah Khamenei has already been appointed as the new Iran foreign minister. It shows a lot what is happening and what is set up to become. And the oldest son is the prime minister of Iran, son-in-law. Keep it in the family. Then this shows us they're preparing grounds for Ayatollah Khamenei's son to become the next leader, and this was a struggle internally. We'll see if you're correct. Thank you very much for today. And we'll see what happens and what comes up.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for another Knowledge Seekers Workshop, number 539, in a continuous weekly series. And thank you, everybody, for attending today's workshop and participating. Lots of good questions. And if you have any questions left over, please bring them into next week's workshop. Now, our next public teaching workshop will be on Tuesday, May 28th, and that will be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. And that's with members of the Universal Council and support members. And the public is welcome to attend and to have an opportunity to ask questions in the later part of the presentation. Okay, thanks again, everyone. And we'll go out with our usual Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And I'd also like to acknowledge our beautiful background image today from Jedi Simon. Thank you very much. And that's it for today. And we'll go out with some music and dance here. And bye for now.